Hey, guys, my name is Paula Sun, but you can call me the Change Navigator. I mean, that's why you clicked on the podcast because of the name, right? All right, cool. I want to begin by saying welcome to my new listeners and welcome back to the Faithful Navigators. Listen, guys, we are closing out season two with a bang. Season two, we've been interviewing ordinary people who have been doing extraordinary things. And this season, we've highlighted several women who are making great strides, who are doing big things. And this season, I wanted to end this season too with a bang. I have a very special guest today. Her name is Jasmine Thompson, all the way from Waco, Texas. Jasmine, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me today. I appreciate this invitation. I don't do stuff like this, but hey, it's the first time for everything, right?
Right, right. I appreciate you so much. Um, Jasmine, tell the listeners a little bit about yourself since you didn't, send me a bio that I could read to them.
I didn't send the bio because it's me and when I go to different places, they always ask for a bio too, right? And I'm just like, my bio wrote it. I'm just Jazz. I mean, there's nothing sad about me. I'm from Waco, a little small town called Waco, Texas. And I play basketball. Uh, and that's really me. Like the rest is who I am now. You know what I mean? And we'll talk about a little bit about what happened, you know what I mean, in between then and now, which shaped me into who I am now. So
Okay. All right. So, everybody, this is Just Jazz. Just Jazz is here with us today, and she's going to share a little bit of her story. Jazz and I go back a few years. I met her mother first back in 2006. And then I met, yeah, 2006 is when I met your mother 15 years ago. So the crazy thing is, I call her mother Big Sis, and I call Jazz Lil Sis. I don't know how that works, but hey, it works for all of us, okay? So I met her mother first at a church conference, a church convention, and her mother, like, she was speaking and she was preaching, and I was so amazed at the anointing and how she flowed. Listen, guys, if you have ever been in a service with evangelist Lillian Thomas, she prophesies to you and sings and will have you under a bench. I'm not kidding. I mean, this woman, she started prophesying and she was singing to me. And I remember 15 years ago, she told me that God would send me some real friends. 15 years ago. Yeah,
wow.
that was one of the things she said, but she sang it. And by the time she finished, I was on the pew, like for real.
Wow.
I was gone. And I think I met Jack
Really,
in 2010, somewhere around that time. Her mom had a conference and invited me. Yeah, it could be that long. hmm When did you
let's
graduate high school?
all right. 2008.
2008. So yeah, it was in between that time, some kind of way.
It was 2010 because
Okay,
I went to Tyler first, and then I met you when I was at
Brown.
Howard.
Okay. All right. So yeah, met Jazz in 2010, so about 11 years ago. And so Jazz, let's talk about that transition from Tyler to the other school. What caused that transition?
Hey, simply put, I was doing too much. You know what I mean? I was getting myself into stuff that I couldn't get myself out of. You know what I mean? And so I had to. It wasn't just my decision. At that time, my parents helped me make that decision too. Of course, I had to be okay with it, but they helped me make that decision that it was just time for a change of scenery, to get me out of that whole environment. My mom was somewhere else when I was there. You know what I mean?
Got you.
So
All right. So she transferred from Tyler all the way, was it Brownsville?
Brownwood, Brownwood.
Brownwood, Texas. All right. So for the people who don't know, let me preface it with this. Jasmine's parents, her father is a pastor, mother first lady, uncle is a bishop.
Everybody is something else.
Everybody is somebody in this grand old Church of God in Christ, right? So Jasmine comes from a great family, right? Great family. Two-parent home, good neighborhood. all of that. But Jasmine chose a different route. Jasmine chose
Yeah,
a different route,
a
and it's
totally different.
different at one point in her life. I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about the story that makes her who she is now. So she chose a different route, and that's around the time when I knew Jasmine, when she was on that route. Jasmine, tell the navigators a little bit about that route.
Okay. It was a lot that transpired, you know what I mean? That even got me to that point. From always dealing with depression, always feeling like I wasn't accepted, like I wasn't good enough, you know what I mean? And that's what kind of led me on that journey, you know what I mean? Trying to fit in, or trying to be the standout kid. And that's crazy because that's not even who I am. You know what I mean? If I could rewrite everything, you know what I mean? But I wanted that attention. That was the attention that I wanted. And I sought for attention, not realizing that I was seeking for the wrong type of attention. You know what I mean? And depression, like I said, depression and not feeling good enough, that led me on that journey. And so I got intertwined with gangs. I got introduced to the gang life in December of 2009. Um, and the way that took off, like that took off so fast, I had no control of it. When I decided to do it, at first it was like, oh, it'd be cool to have a group of 50 people that I can call if something happened. You know what I mean? Now that's cool. Like that'll scare somebody off. And, you know what I mean? Like it really will. It makes somebody think twice about what they say and what they do to you, right? So, and not that and the crazy thing is I never had a problem with that. I never had an issue with nobody taking me for granted or trying me in that way. But for some reason, like that it was cool. Like it was a cool thought to me. Like I can have 50 people on your head. If you make the wrong decision, you say something wrong to me, like that was a cool thought to me. And that when it went from one thing to the next. And by the time you met me, I was so messed up. I was so messed you know what I mean? Like so much had taken place that I didn't intend on taking place. You know what I mean? I didn't intend for it to happen that way. But I guess God has a way of molding and shaping all of us. And so I guess that was a part of my journey. You know what I mean? And I got deep in it. You know what I mean? You know a lot of stuff. So I got deep into a lot of stuff, mentally, emotionally, physically. I got intertwined with a whole lot of stuff that I probably didn't have to do. You know what I mean? I probably, because I'm coming from a good family, good background. You know what I mean? We didn't always live in the best neighborhood, but my parents always kept us protected. They always kept food on our plate. They kept, you know what I mean? Whether we knew it or not, we thought the lights were on. You know what I mean? We did. We just thought it was having candlelight dinner. We didn't know what was going on. You know what I mean? So even when the lights were off, they did a great job at camouflaging the hard times in our life. You know what I'm saying? We thought we was taking a vacation when we stayed in Motel 6. You know what I mean? So, it was that type of thing that my parents always made sure that we was good. You know what I mean? And so I didn't really have a real, some kids have their reason. Well, my family turned their back on me, so I'm gonna turn to the streets. I had plenty of partners like that. You know what I mean? But that wasn't my story. And so a lot of times when it came to them having certain issues, they come to talk to me about it. I didn't have those issues. I didn't have that. So, a lot took place in 2000, between 2008 and 2010. And I think it kept going a little bit, but kept going a little bit. But it takes a while to break you out of that mental. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's a minute to break you out of that, the way that you think, and the psychological things that happen. And you know what I mean? Things that happen, you got to deal with that. You know what I mean? You got to deal with the emotions of it, the psychological aspect of it. You have to deal with all of that. And so it was a lot that took place, a whole lot.
I would laugh because sometimes I would just text you just randomly.
I always be like, this the wrong time.
Randomly. I think almost every time I text you randomly, it was quote unquote the wrong time.
Yeah, listen, every time was the wrong time. It was like, and you know what's crazy? It wasn't just you. Like I would get a slew of text messages at one time. And I had like, see, at the time I had like 3 different phones. And my family only knew of one. You know what I mean? They knew of the phone that they purchased, that they were paying the bill to. They knew of that one. They didn't know about the other phone. Now my brother did. My brother knew about my other phone. So if I got a message from him, if I ain't answer on one phone, he gonna hit me up on all the other phones. And I was like, man, this is just the wrong. Why they want to hit me up at the wrong time? I can't answer right now. You would always do it. It was like you. Yeah, the timing was just was pitiful. Like, let me enjoy my sin right now. Leave me alone.
It was God. It was God reminding.
It really was.
Reminding you. So when you were in that life, did you have any fears while you were in the game?
Listen, you have that was it's a fear every day. You know what I mean? Because you doing so much. You know what I mean? You're doing so much, you become enemies to a lot of people that you know you're an enemy to. You know what I mean? And so there's a lot of I had a lot of fear. You know what I mean? But I couldn't show it. But I had a lot of fear. You know what I mean? But my fear didn't make me, it made me to a horrible person, put it like that. You know what I mean? Because some people respond in fear by running away. That wasn't my take on it. I want to face fear right there. Me and you eye to eye. You know what I mean? That's how it was. And that created like a wall in me that I still deal with that. You know what I mean? If I'm afraid of something, my approach to it is like the wrong way. It's not always God first. My approach to it is like, nah, you ain't gonna get to say that I was scared of anything. You know what I mean? I could be shaking in my boots, but you're not gonna know.
I got you. So did you see your decision when you joined the game? Did you see it as a permanent decision or just as a phase you were in at that time in your life?
At that time, I thought it was just a phase. You know what I mean? Because I was like, you know, this is just something that I can do, you know, on the weekends or something. Yeah, you think it's gonna be that way until you start to see that it's completely different. It's completely different. You got obligations, you got stuff you gotta, you know what I mean? It's a business. So you tend to your business every day, right? So when I think, oh, I'm gonna just stay in and study, it wasn't that easy.
I got you. So what made you decide that you needed to change your life?
For one, I kept getting too many warnings. And like you say, I was raised up in church, and my that was the scripture before any whooping was warning come before destruction. Warning comes before destruction, and that stuck with me. You know what I mean? That stayed with me. So I had way too many warnings. And I didn't want to, I got a heart, you know what I mean? Like, as much as I tried to cover it up, it even got cold at one point, you know what I mean? As much as it was like that, I still got a heart. I mean, when it comes to God, like, I may have been out there, but it never left me. You know what I mean? Like, my parents trained me up in a way that I should go, in the way that I should go. Then when I got older, it never departed from me. So no matter what I did, I always had that sense of like, man, like, God, you see me doing all this stuff. Like, why you ain't allow nothing to happen to me yet? And it's in that moment where you feeling like, man, like, this could have happened, this could have happened. I had a whole lot of those moments. You know what I mean? stuff could have went wrong, like completely wrong, and we wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation. You know what I mean? So it was in one of those moments where I would just be sitting down by myself, and I honestly think I had a dream. And I woke up from that dream, and it was a dream that the situation in the dream had actually happened. You know what I mean? But in my dream, it was the results was what it could have been.
Gotcha.
And I woke up in the panic. I was sweating, and everything was like I was just in a whole nother like what just happened, like, and it was like I felt every bullet that was in me that was in my dream. You know what I mean? And man, I just got chills talking about that. And I remember having that dream, and when I got up, I started praying. And mind you, at that time, I felt like, what's the point of praying? You know what I mean? Like, what's the point? Like, God gonna do what he want to do regardless. What's the point of me talking to him and telling him, you know what I mean, what I desire when I ain't been giving him what he desired this whole time? That's kind of selfish, that's rude. And I wouldn't want nobody to use me, you know what I'm saying? Just because you're going through a hard time, don't use me, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, it was a battle. Like, do I pray and ask God to come rescue me, or do I keep on trying to get myself out of this myself? You know what I mean? And so I went through that battle for a long time, but like that night that I had that dream, when I woke up, I started praying without a thought. I just started praying. And I remember when I went to church, the word seemed like it just punched me right in my face. Like, you know, you can't do that much that God will actually turn his back on you and leave you where you are. You know what I mean? So it was one of those moments in church, you know what I mean? And then I'm thankful for my background as well, my foundation that I have, you know what I mean, that let me know that God's grace is sufficient, you know what I mean, and his mercy is everlasting. But it was one of them dreams that got me. And it's crazy. I used to have those. Like, I used to have those dreams all the time. But like I said, at one point my heart did get cold as to pertaining to myself. Like, if something happened to me, it just happened to me. I feel like if anything ever happened, I get caught, I go to jail, it just be like I'm in the army. I have to write my people all the time. I had prepared myself mentally for whichever way the situation went. You know what I mean? And that was a hard thing to break. You know what I mean? That was something different. So it was
Gotcha. Wow. So a dream of what could have been is actually what saved you from, you know, staying, or actually rescued you from staying longer than you stayed. So listen, we all have triggers or instances that make us want to resort to what's familiar and where we've come from. What has been your biggest challenge as it relates to staying away from that?
mm. That's a real good question. Like, honestly, and I never thought about it, although I know in my head I have a lot of triggers. Because like the more you experience, the more triggers you're gonna have. You know what I mean? And so it's a lot. People popping off and just saying whatever they want to say. You know what I mean? You have those people that's like, they just gotta get it out. You know what I mean? And I'm not a talker like that. Like, you know, when it comes down to tension, I'm not gonna just start talking like that. We gonna handle it how we gonna handle it and let that be it. You know what I mean? And so people just when they just keep on going, like, just be quiet. Let it that's a trigger, you know what I mean? Or people taking the fact that, okay, and this is a real trigger for me, like, because I'm saved now. You know what I mean? I'm saved. And so God really did save me. And sometimes people in the world take us Christians and us saints as weak because we the way that they respond. You feel me? And for me, that's a trigger. Cause you don't really know me like that. You know what I like you don't really know what this could have been. And that's what I keep in my head is like, okay, you know who I am today, but you don't know who I used to be. But I'm gonna let Jazz stay back there. I'm gonna let that food stay back there. I'm gonna let that food rest. So I actually try to pray in those moments, but sometimes like God, God, you got to do something right now. This this ain't about to be good. But I have a lot of triggers, man, and it's a lot of stuff that, mentally, a lot of triggers that I have to deal with. It's a whole lot. Too many to explain, to be honest.
That's fine. You don't have to go into everything. I'm not gonna ask you to go into everything.
If I be crying for nothing.
Huh?
I said, yeah, if I be sitting here crying for nothing.
So, how has the journey been for you since you stepped away from that?
Challenging.
Okay.
Most definitely challenging because it's easy to get back out there.
Okay.
It is. It's easy to get back out there. Now, what keeps me from going back out there is that it's more difficult to come back than it is to go out.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And so, it's been challenging. The road has been a fairly challenging one, but God helped me. He gave me strength to make it through those moments. You know what I mean? Those challenging moments, he gave me strength to make it through. So it's not as challenging as it could be if I didn't have Christ. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. So, what advice would you share with someone who is at a crossroads, who may be in a gang, but they want to come out, but they have a fear of living life as a quote unquote normal person? What advice?
Take it day by day. I mean, if you think of where I was messing up is that I was thinking of like the end result before I even took the first baby step. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking, like, how am I gonna get all the way there? You know what I mean? And look where I am. Like, I'm screwed up. I'm jacked up. My whole mind is a mess. And the first couple of times that I even tried to get out, and when I say get out, I mean like mentally. The first couple of times that I tried to like break my mindset, it didn't work out to me so well. It didn't work out for me so well. Because it was like I was just going in circles, like in a mental cycle of, yeah, you can take a step up, but think about what you already did. Like, who's gonna accept you like that? Like, and so I would say strengthen yourself mentally. And the only way that I know to strengthen myself mentally is through the word. You know what I mean? And so I would say anybody that's at that crossroad, like it's not too late to change. You know what I mean? It's never too late to change. And give all of it to God. You know what I mean? Like I know it's a lot of stuff that you want to hold on to, because I did that. It's a whole lot of stuff that I wanted to hold on to. But it wasn't until I completely gave it all to God that things actually started to change for me.
Nice. So you said something so key and so pivotal. You said take baby steps and not look at the end result, because looking at the end result, you will feel like you'll fail before you even start making those steps.
Most definitely, you disqualify yourself. And that's what I was doing. I was disqualifying myself, not really even realizing like God had already qualified me. You know what I mean? So I was thinking like, okay, I would love to be where my mom is. You know what I mean? Like I would love to be there, like so powerful, so anointed. Like I would love to just up and I'm there. Like, oh, I'm done with the gang stuff. You know what I mean? And I'm all of a sudden I'm singing people on the pews and you know what I mean? Like I would have loved to have been there, but that was my problem. I was looking at where I was and I was looking at where she is. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking, no, that I ain't gonna be able to get there like that. And with me, I'm one of those people that like to see results right away.
Okay.
So the second that I gave my life to Christ, I'm like, No, but like I still got this issue, I still got this problem. Like, and then I started to slowly but surely like step away from Christianity and start finding myself right back in the same position that I was in. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Because I wasn't taking those baby steps. And I wasn't how can I put it? I wasn't satisfied with the baby steps that I was taking.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Got
I wanted to see the end result right away. You know what I mean? And that wasn't it. So I started to disqualify myself. I
Mhm.
started to say, well, I'm not good enough. Well, I made this mistake. And I made this mistake. And there's countless mistakes that I made and countless bad choices that I made. At that point, they weren't even mistakes. They were just bad choices. You know what I mean? It was countless of those times. And so that's what made me start to disqualify myself.
Gotcha. So, to anybody who's out there at a crossroad and you're trying to make a decision, you want to do the right thing, but then you have the bad thing that you're used to, the bad thing you're accustomed to, and the bad thing that you think you're really just good at. The way to go about changing is to take baby steps. Don't try to think about where you'll be a few months down the road or where you'll be in a year from now. Just think about, hey, I just need to get through today. I just need to get through today. And once you realize that you have the strength to get through one day, you'll be able to get through another day. But it's all about taking steps. And sometimes you can't even think you can get through the day. Okay, let me get through this hour. You know,
Yeah,
you,
most
you
definitely.
got to
I had
make
to
it
start
bite
going by
size.
minutes. I'm
Right.
serious. I really did. I had to start going by minutes. I had to start going by, okay, let me get through let me go 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 32. Let's do 15. So, and like it really it got that crucial. But what kept me going is my desperation. I was desperate to get to peace of mind.
Mm,
Like that was my driving force.
mm,
Like, how bad do you want peace of mind? Because you better believe, like, you out there doing all that stuff, like me, I'm out there doing all that stuff. Uh, I ain't have no peace of mind
mhm,
whatsoever, like none at all. Especially with my foundation, with my background, with my upbringing. Like, I didn't have no peace of mind because I knew what I was doing was wrong.
mhm,
I didn't have any peace of mind, you know what I mean? And so I didn't sleep. I wasn't taking care of myself like I was supposed to, you know what I mean? And I got tired of that.
mhm,
And what kept me going, you know what I mean, is because I'm slick and I know how to get out of stuff. I know how to maneuver. I know how to get around whatever I'm trying to do. I know how to do it. Like, I
mhm,
know I'm a smooth talker. I
mhm,
know how to get myself out of situations. I know how to get myself into situations. You know what I mean? But I never got caught.
mhm,
So that was one thing that kept me like, oh yeah, you can keep on doing this if you want to. I never got caught.
mhm,
Been close, but I never got caught. You
mhm,
know what I mean? But even in not getting caught, I didn't have no peace of mind with that. It wasn't like, oh, that was a victory because I didn't get caught. Like, nah, I'm still out here doing the same thing. And at that point now I'm starting to get older. You know what I mean? And so I wasn't I wasn't okay with what I was doing.
mhm.
And so my driving force was peace of mind. I mean, I'm pretty sure anybody that's out there doing any of that stuff, you don't have no peace of mind. It ain't no way that you can rest well at night when you know somebody looking for you, or you know the next time you get out on the street, it can be you or them.
Mm,
I mean, and so there is no peace of mind when you out there in the streets.
mhm. Well, thank you, Jasmine, for giving us a glimpse of what your life was like. And so now we're about to switch to the current Jasmine. The current Jasmine is doing some amazing things, but sometimes we just have to know people's story, understand their story to really appreciate where they are now. And so I really appreciate where she is now. I supported her when she was where she was. I tried to be the listening ear, tried to be the calming whatever. And I remember one time when I felt I couldn't reach her, I finally said, I gotta call her mama. And
Man, you almost got me in trouble. I remember that.
I was like, this one is too big for me. Let me calm.
You know how like in movies, you see the thug just out there thugging it out, right?
Mhm.
Down for whatever. When they mama get around, story change. Story change. That's what it was. I was like, dang, man, I can't go. I can't go.
Right. So I remember that. And so I look back to where you were and where you are now. And I honestly, I'm so happy for you. I celebrate you. You have a wonderful husband and two beautiful baby boys or sons. They're not babies, they're little boys. And so now Jasmine has just been nominated as the Poet of the Year. Am I correct? In Waco, Texas. Yes, Jasmine is the Poet of the Year. But guys, she's not only amazing at spoken word, but this chick can sing like with no effort, like flatfoot sing like with no effort. I mean, like, where's this coming from? Like, it's amazing, but she's so dope and she does it all. And listen, I'm gonna say I'm the big sister, but I'm a fan. I'm a fan of what she does. And so we're ending season 2 like this. I'm going to put Jazz on the spot and I'm going to ask Jazz to share with the navigators. Give us a little, wait, hold up. Do I want to? Yeah. All right. Give us a little spoken word before we end this segment. Whatever you want to do, just flow for us.
Hey. So I was gonna do cycles, but since we just talked about my life, I'm gonna do my testimony. All right.
Okay.
Is that cool?
That's fine.
Ain't no singing in this one though.
You been singing in cycles?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Okay.
It's which one is your car? This your show.
Whatever you're comfortable with, you go ahead.
Y'all want to hear? Y'all want to hear cycles? Y'all go to my Facebook page. When he speaks, I speak. I have a whole video on there of all of my poems, me singing and everything. But
what's your Facebook page? What's the name?
When he speaks, I speak.
Okay.
And yeah, just join them. Just follow me on there, and you'll see a lot of what I'm doing and what I'm about to do. You'll see all that on there. All right. All right. So this is my testimony, though. All right. And don't look at me because I'm in my, look away. No, I'm just playing. I'm good. All right. I used to go to sleep every night with my brains fried. I tried to hold my feelings inside, but my pain cried. I even switched it up and I went to the gang side, throwing gang signs. See, I was in a different frame of mind. I could have had some shackles wrapped around me on my feet. I could have had some flowers rearranged and rest in peace. I went into the world searching for peace, with a peace, not knowing to left the option open for me being deceased. See, I remember it was December when my niece died on me. And then in April, my brother got shot and died, homie. That's when it all dawned on me. There can't nobody do me like he do. That's God only. Yes, it took a toll on me. I had no control of me. I was busy acting like the world and God was owing me, but then he grabbed a hold of me. I was missing him holding me. And I vowed that I would try to be the woman I'm supposed to be. I struggle every now and then, but I know God is molding me. And I ain't stopping until it's over, G, and that's for real. See, sometimes I lay awake in my bed and let tears fall, reminiscing about the times that I should have been killed, y'all. Fed time in my face, strapped, tied to my waist. I kept a couple tools, plus I had the blades in my lace. Married to the game only in exchange for the cake. See, the life that I was living was a one-way mistake, but I promise I won't go back. I'll never wear my throwback. I'll keep Christ on me like I used to keep that dro sack. Yeah, boy, you know that. But you should probably know this. I'm alive and well where I am because he noticed me where I was. Underneath, not above, a couple feet from my life taken by the same gun. I yelled as loud as I could to my partner, man, run. I turned around and I seen his brain stain on my ones. Now I'm stuck in his pond, wondering if I'ma make it. Tears rolling down my face, I'm praying, God, please save me. I'm just happy that I made it out that crazy situation. I don't know where I would be without my Savior.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jazz, again, for sharing your testimony with us. I appreciate it so much. Again, guys, to follow her on Facebook, go like her Facebook page. When he speaks, I speak. If you want to follow her on Instagram, her Instagram handle is.
Jazz So Unique, and it's all one word, JAZZSOUNIQUE.
All right. We thank you, Jazz, for helping us to end season 2 with a bomb, sending us out blazing with your testimony. Thank you for being so transparent with us. Thank you for taking out time with us. Navigators, I really hope that you enjoyed season 2 while we were interviewing ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And I want you all to stay tuned. Season 3 will be coming soon. All right, navigators, until next time, keep going.